When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. That means in front of the people in the royal palace, before kings, before the courtiers, this instrument was played and everybody was impressed. The sound of this instrument was far better than the pungi. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chamber, that means in the royal palace, the Shah's chamber, and was played by a nai, that is a barber, the instrument was named the Shehnai. So this is a good piece of information for everybody. Underline why this instrument was given the name Shehnai. Because first it was played in the Shah's chamber by a nai. That is why it has been given the name Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. That means it was considered to be holy and was played in auspicious occasions, that is marriages, etc. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Indispensable component, that means any North Indian wedding is incomplete unless and until Shehnai is played. Either a cassette can be played or a person himself is invited, a Shehnai player is invited and he plays the Shehnai. But in a North Indian wedding, Shehnai is a very important element. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble. See the meaning of ensemble. Considered as a group. Things or instruments considered as a group. In the past, the Shehnai was a part of the Naubat or traditional ensemble of 9 instruments found at royal courts. That means in the royal courts, 9 instruments were played and among them Shehnai was a part. Till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. So, we can say by this that Ustad Bismillah Khan gave a new life to Shehnai. He gave a broader platform to Shehnai. Earlier, Shehnai was only confined to temples or weddings. But later on, he gave Shehnai a classical stage. That means it became a very important classical music instrument and was played not only in India but all over the world. As a 5-year-old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient estate of Dumrao in Bihar. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. This happened 80 years ago, and the little boy has travelled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So, this boy who used to play Gilli Danda in Dumrao later on became a great personality and achieved the highest civilian award in India, which is called the Bharat Ratna. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belongs to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. His grandfather, Rasul Baksh Khan, was the Shehnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur king's court. His father, Paigambar Baksh, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shehnai players. That means Shehnai was not an unknown instrument to Bismillah Khan. He was a good Shehnai player. He was a renowned Shehnai player, and his father, his grandfather, all were renowned Shehnai players. The young boy took to music early in life. That means he started learning music very early in his life. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, now Varanasi, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shehnai. That means he was inclined to music at the age of 3 also. At the age of 3, you can well understand how small is the child. But this small child had a great love for music, and he used to listen to Shehnai being played by his uncles when he went to his maternal uncle's house. Soon, Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Bux to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Bux was employed to play the Shehnai. Ali Bux would play the Shehnai, and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. He was captivated means he was so fascinated that he kept on sitting still and just watched Shehnai being played by Ali Bux. Slowly, he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maiya and the banks of Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts, where he could practice in solitude. So, this young apprentice, that means this young student, this new learner of Shehnai, started sitting on the banks of river Ganga, or he would go to the temple of Balaji or Mangala Maiya, and he would practice there in solitude. That means he would sit there alone, and in that lonely, silent atmosphere of the temple and of the banks of river Ganga, he would sit there to practice Shehnai. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. When he used to sit on the banks of river Ganga, he made several improvements, several new innovations came to his mind, and he kept on making improvements in Shehnai and invented several ragas which he played while he was playing Shehnai. And before this, no one had ever thought of improving Shehnai so much. At the age of 14, Bismillah accompanied his uncle to the Allahabad Music Conference. At the end of his recital, Ustad Fayaz Khan patted the young boy's back and said, "Work hard and you shall make it." With the opening of the All India Radio in Lucknow in 1938 came Bismillah's big break. He soon became an often heard Shehnai player on radio. Underline this line. This was a very big achievement in the life of Ustad Bismillah Khan. In 1938, with the opening of the All India Radio, he became an often heard Shehnai player on the